or panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start Broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our partner webinar, Strategic Selling in Tough Times, LaserVault ViTL for IBM iBackup. My name is Axe Signer, Vice President of Electronic Storage Corporation. A little background on our company. We are located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Here at our Tulsa office, we have our own programming staff, also technical support and customer service here in Tulsa. We are an IBM registered business partner and a Microsoft certified partner. We've been in business for over 30 years. So our agenda today, we're going to talk about efficiency for top IT priorities, risk reduction, modernization, particularly in IBM iBackup strategy. So we're going to talk about LaserVault ViTL as a strategic, budget-friendly upgrade for your current backup solution for IBM i. Talk about setting up joint demos with your customers of our solution. I'm also going to do a live demo overview of our solution, LaserVault ViTL, and then we'll have a Q&A and free download materials towards the end of the presentation. So priority number one, efficiency. We're looking to help companies automate their IBM iBackup processes, reduce manual steps, specifically if they're using physical tape, operating time in dealing with physical tape, speeds of backup and recovery, especially compared to a tape-based backup solution where disk-based solution, virtual tape, storage can be a lot faster in backup and recovery compared to physical tape. Integration with their existing backup software workflow. So we're going to talk about integration with Go Save commands, full system restricted state saves with the VTL solution, demode IPL, and as well as working with products like BRMS, Robot Save, works perfectly well with virtual tape like it does with physical tape. So priority two, risk reduction, eliminating physical media, the handling, chance of damage, lost tapes, mislabeled tapes. Supports data encryption, so we can, with our solution, there's a built-in encryption feature, AES 256, where backup is written encrypted, and if replicated, also replicated in transit and at rest for encryption. Talked a little bit about faster restores, minimizing downtime after failure, the ability to quickly restore a backup, whether it's a full system save during a demode IPL or object or library, the ability to have all of their backups online at any time they need them to do a recovery. So talk about aging tape hardware, replacing that technology with a virtual tape solution. So supporting scale to larger storage capacity, no physical limitations in terms of storage for a particular solution, where we have one particular customer, they do 100 and so terabytes a day in their backup process. Capability with network-based storage targets. So we're going to talk a lot about that in terms of being able to use existing storage and leveraging that storage for IBM iBackups. We're going to talk about our technology partners that we work with in terms of their backup solutions, being able to back up directly to those solutions through our gateway system for IBM i data. Deduplication, saving on storage costs. Our particular solution, LaserVault ViTL, we do offer a data deduplication add-on feature of our product that will perform deduplication of data at the block level. We also work with Rubrik, Cohesity, Exagrid, IBM Defender Data Protect. And then our latest version I'll show in the demonstration offers a multi-path support for more storage flexibility, where a particular virtual tape library that's defined may have multiple paths in which virtual tapes are being stored, written, and recovered from. So this is a new technology partner relationship that we've established with IBM for IBM Defender Data Protect. And this is really where, with our other technology partners, our gateway solution. So the gateway solution being that the VTL is going to be able to write directly to the Defender Data Protect cluster and backup stored there and easily recovered. So the VTL, the ViTL solution, is just the tape libraries, the virtual tape libraries, tape devices for the IBM I. So no data has to be written, so no disk space is required in the gateway solution, which would be a server or a VM environment. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So this is where you can utilize this particular solution with your IBM I platform as well as your other backups in your enterprise solutions. And then we have replication. We're replicating from one site to another. A second gateway solution for doing saves and recovers during a DR process or whatever the case might be, and if you are saving also at a DR location or co-location or other data center. So I've mentioned a bit about some of our other business partners, our technology partners, Exagrid, Cohesity, Rubrik, similar system to Data Protect. So this is going into a little more detail on the type of connectivity between the VTL server and the IBM I. Typical, it's fiber channel. Our solution also supports SAS. This connectivity, because it's used to emulate tape, connects similar to a physical tape device or any other VTL. That connectivity allows you to emulate tape, which means you can perform D-mode IPL from virtual tape, as well as full system restricted state saves. Then you have a connection between the VTL server and the storage, which can be iSCSI, NFS, SMB share, and making that disk space and that storage available to the gateway server, and the data is written directly through the gateway server to the storage. Okay, so let's go through some of the features, capabilities of our VTL solution, LaserVault ViTL. So I'm going to log in with my secure username and password to the web interface. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and go to libraries. Here I have two virtual tape libraries defined for the IBM I, and which our system is a Power 10. I'm going to do access library 1. So these are going to be the settings when I click edit. So these are the settings screen for editing that library. First up would be just the library name, which corresponds to this option on the left, which I'll show you in a minute. I'm emulating Ultrium 8. You have also 5, 2, and 3 emulation. None of these have a storage limit to them. So if your backup is 10 terabytes for say a daily backup, it will all fit on a virtual tape no matter which LTO version that you use. Also, there's no speed difference in the different Ultrium versions in which we can emulate. Currently, this tape library is set up for 60 virtual tape storage slots. This number can be as high as 16,350. No, I'm sorry, 16,000. 16,350 storage slots for your to add tapes and to be used in your backup rotations. This number can be increased anytime that you want, so that if you needed to add additional virtual tapes for additional retentions, that's easily done. Simply change that to the number of slots that you need for new tapes. You can set a capacity for virtual tapes. This would be in the case where we have some customers that save journals throughout the day, and eventually they want those tapes to fill up or to reach the capacity so that the next tape can be rotated in for those saves. Now, backup speed compared to physical tape is the name of the game in terms of virtual tape solution in comparison and a major benefit. So these are some settings that we've got in our solution for creating that faster backup speed, the fastest as possible in terms of being able to use cache, memory cache within the server in order to increase the speed of the backups, as well as read cache, which would help in the speed of restores of the data from virtual tape to the IBM I. So those are tweaked and tested to see which options, and it goes all the way to I believe it goes 64 gig memory cache or read and write cache. So then I've mentioned this is our latest version 4, and we're going to talk a little bit about the major feature added to this version for your customers to consider if they want to use multiple storage locations for their virtual tape backups. So in this case, what I've created is a volume on my VTL ViTL server of disk, and then I have a path. So this is my local path. I could basically present this as a landing zone storage where I'm going to land a backup to the local disk, being an SSD or flash storage, basically for speed. And then I can migrate a tape from that local storage to any other storage location that's defined. And there's no limit on how many of these you can define for a particular virtual tape library. In this case, I can migrate a tape to Azure. There's two ways, and a migrate is a move. So it's going to be moved from the local path, say after the save or the backup is complete. And then I can have a process that automatically migrates that tape, moves that tape to the cloud storage or to ExtraGrid, IBM Data Protect, whatever the case might be, any other storage location. So you can go in and add, let's take a look at some of the other parameters. One of the parameters that is also a factor in backup speed for this particular path, when I'm performing a save, a backup, I'm actually writing to 8 files at the same time. So the data for a single virtual tape is actually divided out into 8 files, and we're writing that data to those files at the same time. Now, when you do a restore, it doesn't matter which file. We know which file it's in, the object, the library. So that's all transparent to performing a restore as well as performing a save. So this can be increased, decreased, depending on what you want to do in terms of, the speed or what your best results get for speed based on the number of files that we're writing to disk. Now, to get into a little bit more detail with this, in terms of our technology backup solution partners, where this allows you to actually spread those files across multiple paths, writing to, say, for example, Cohesity, Rubric, to a multi-cluster backup solution. So this allows you to use multiple nodes to ingest, to write your backups across multiple nodes for a particular cluster that you're using, for example, Cohesity, Rubric, IBM Data Protect, etc. So this allows for increased backup speed to directly to those solutions, because you can spread out those files, those data block files, which is set to 8. I could use 8 nodes, 1 file per node. But that gets in a little bit more detail in terms of, how that particular feature works with multi-cluster, multi-node solutions, backup solutions that the customer might be writing to. So I can move to, on initialize, I can move back to Azure. I can move back, if I had this checked, it would move back to Azure to initialize it. But this would typically be, if you are migrating a tape to Azure and from local storage to Azure, it's been moved, still available to restore from. But if you check this box and go back to local, it will initialize the tape back on local disk and be available to write to. That will happen automatically. The compression is usually averages 4 or 5 to 1 compression. That comes standard with our product. Encryption is checked. Encryption key is here. If you have the deduplication add-on capability with our bdupe add-on solution, then you would check this box and use that particular deduplication where it's block level. It can be inline or it can be post backup process. Replication, retention. So replication, different than migration. Migration is a move. Replication is a copy, right? So with our solution, there is built-in replication capabilities. So if you want to replicate your backups, once the backup to that virtual tape is complete, that job can be defined to automatically replicate that virtual tape backup to another, say another VTL server, another ViTL server, cloud storage. I have 3 examples of where backups could be replicated to cloud storage. Again, automated process. And then I have a network path option where you might be replicating from DR to production or vice versa. And therefore that path is a replication path of making copies of your backups. So I'll show you, like, for example, this particular job is set for all volumes. You can define a replication job based on a volume prefix, such as daily, weekly, monthlies. If you have that type of a prefix naming convention of your virtual tapes, which you have 6 characters for a volume ID, just like a physical tape. You have the ability to put in an email address for replication, notifications of when the job is started and when it's complete, and then in case there was a particular issue or error, you'd receive an email automatically. So enable replication, you can enable blank tapes, you can base on number of volumes or all volumes. So if you wanted to run this every other day and you're running this on a daily backup, you can run it, 2 most recent volumes, which would be the 2 latest backups. All volumes just means that you're going to replicate the latest updated virtual tape. That was your last save. So for the 3 of the cloud storage options that are built in for these cloud storage properties. So these would be the parameters entered for your Amazon S3 storage account. Therefore, LaserVault ViTL can replicate directly to the storage assigned to this particular account. For retention, below here, you've got retention where you can enable local retention as well as remote retention. This typically wouldn't be used if you're using BRMS, Robot Save, since those solutions rotate and it automatically initialize backups that have expired through BRMS maintenance. But if you're using Go Save commands, maybe you're using this as a virtual tape device, then you could use these options to expire tapes for your daily, weekly, monthly retentions. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at library 1. Oh, I did want to mention too, this is a big thing, is the NPI capability for fiber channel in particular. So fiber channel connectivity through a fiber channel switch for each physical port that is connected within the LaserVault ViTL server, whether that be 8 gig, 16 gig, 32, 64 gig fiber channel. You can have up to 64 virtual tape devices per connection via switch. You can do direct connect with those speeds if there is no switch. No IP. I do want to note that no NPIV is available for a direct connection. So therefore, with a direct connection, you get 1 tape device, or you get a tape library with 1 tape device. Again, 64 virtual ports, which would be 64 virtual tape devices per fiber channel port. Okay, so let's take a look at library 1. So here we're going to see all of our virtual tapes in their slots. All of these D volumes here. Also, we're going to show you which path these volumes are located. So even though a tape would reside in another path and has been migrated to that path, it is actually still accessible to, first of all, view within inventory, but it's also restorable from right where it is. Now, of course, a restore compared to local, compared to restoring it from Azure, would be a speed difference. So you can migrate any Azure tape back to local storage for restores. But these tapes that are in other locations, other storage locations, can be loaded and restored, mounted and restored. BRMS also still knows about these tapes. So if you were to go select an object or library from this volume, which is in Azure, the restore BRMS would perform the restore. The tape would get loaded in the drive and the data would be restored back to the IBM. Again, a speed difference between local and cloud, of course. Now I talked about migrating. There's a migrate link here. So if you wanted to manually migrate a tape from either local or Azure, whichever the case, you could do that here. There's a migrate here. There's also a move where you can move the tape to the drive. So if you were to perform from this tape device a D mode IPL, this interface allows you to move that tape into the drive and have it mounted and ready to go. That's a full system save. Through my admin username and password login to this interface, I can delete tapes. That can be turned off for users that belong to any other group, as well as migrate. All of these features can be turned off for any users that have access to this system if your security requires that. You can click on labels. Labels show you the libraries that are in that save, the sequence, and the size. But as you can see, you can make all of your tapes available to load, restore anytime that you need them. So as we all know, this compared to physical tape means that there's no delay in performing a restore. They're always available. They can always be available. Now up here I can click on Azure and see all my tapes in Azure. I can click on local, see all my tapes in local, all inventory, which would be both paths. Okay, so with any customer that you have an interest in a VTL solution, you'd like to present our solution, LaserVault ViTL, we'd love to schedule a virtual demo, remote demo with you all and your customer. Really, this means you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to become an expert in this solution. There's like zero requirements for this, for you guys to be able to present this to your customers, because we can help you with everything in terms of a technical demonstration, technical resources, access to our programming staff, access to our tech support staff, our sales staff. So really this is you present a prospect, a customer that would like to see our solution, then we can set up a demo with you, answer questions. We can help you with the customer configure the proper solution in terms of hardware. Is it going to be server based with fiber channel or SAS? How many fiber channel ports are required? How many SAS ports? If it's going to be that connectivity, will there be storage? All of these configuration questions. Will it be a VM solution where the customer has within their VM servers a PCIe slot for fiber channel HBA to install that card, pass it through to the virtual OS, and make that presentable to the VTL solution? So there is that option, but if there's not PCIe, then that would mean that they would typically need a physical server, and that's really most cases. So it's simple to do this. Just you get in contact with us, we get it scheduled with you, and work with you and your customer to provide the best solution. So budget friendly. Yeah, this solution is not appliance driven. To mention that you can this is pretty easy to fit within budget, whether it's small, medium, large infrastructure, data amount. Because we do offer this as a software solution where the customer or you as the business partner can provide that hardware solution with the specs that we can provide for you. Customer can source the servers, fiber channel HBAs, all the hardware can be sourced elsewhere, or we can provide a total turnkey solution with everything that they would need. In terms of storage, would it be a gateway solution to existing storage or storage that they're currently looking at for other backups? That can be all taken care of with our sales team. So we talked about efficiency, risk reduction, modernization, all things that, especially if they're using physical tape, giving your customer the opportunity to consider a virtual tape solution or an existing VTL solution that may be coming up due as end of life, where we could provide a more cost-effective solution, especially if they were wanting to leverage existing storage or any of our technology partner solutions for storing their IBM backups. Okay, so we've got these resources. So in the GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting panel, these are the resources that you can download. Also, for co-branded versions, we can have your logo, contact info. So we have certain of these resources, documents in which we can place your logo, contact information on these documents. We can do that for you and get you copies of those via PDF. So you just let us know at info@laservault.com for that additional information. Also in the GoToMeeting webinar panel, there's a questions. So if there's any questions currently, happy to take those that are in the GoToWebinar panel, where you can ask any questions about what we've discussed. Okay, well, we're coming up on being complete, so thanks everyone for your time. Let us know if we can help you and your customers with a VTL solution, demo, configuration, pricing information, options like that. So let us know, info@laservault.com. There's our 800 number. We'd be happy to talk with you. And if you've not worked with us before, you'll know and see pretty quickly how easy it is to work with us and working with you and your customer on a potential solution for IBM backups. All right. Thanks everybody for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.